Yo, 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 what's up? What's up? Welcome back to 101.1 The Culture. You know you're rocking with your boy Benny Hurst, and today I got my dog. I always say I got my dog in here, right?
Most definitely.
But anytime I meet someone and I know that they going through the struggle and giving back and doing this music, I feel like we fam before we even get a chance to meet. It's just that energy really make me feel like before we sit down and I look at you and we connect, I'm like, okay, that's bruh.
He one of the ones.
He one of them ones, you know what I'm saying? And so without further ado, let me introduce my fam, man. This is Paco Da Don. What's happening? What's happening?
What's good? What's good? What's good, bro?
Man, I'm good, man. Feeling lovely, feeling excellent today. And I appreciate your patience. I always tell people when you watching this, you don't realize what goes on behind the scenes. So
Mm-hmm.
we had a small technical difficulty. So we started the interview a little bit later, and I appreciate you just uh holding it down with me for a minute
Most definitely.
before
I'm an
we can do it.
understanding guy.
For sure,
I'm
for
very
sure. I appreciate it.
understanding.
And so you said that you're an understanding guy, but I always say we got to get in your business a little bit today.
Hey, it's all good.
For sure, for sure. So first thing I need you to tell the people who you are. I need you to tell them a little bit about yourself. And of course, you got to tell everybody where you're from.
Most definitely, man. It's the biggest Paco Da Don from Belsom, Alabama. And hey, I'm here to dominate the game.
To dominate the game.
Dominate the game, whether it's musical or whether it's movies.
Okay, okay. So it ain't just it's music and acting.
Most definitely.
Okay, that's
Most
what's.
definitely. And I do a lot of authoring too.
So we have to really talk about
Man,
that.
come on,
because,
man. I'm everywhere.
Okay, for sure, for
I'm
sure.
everywhere.
So now you said you're from Bessemer.
Yes, sir.
So when I was young and I was born here, people know I was born here, raised in LA.
Mm-hmm.
When I used to come back, they used to call it, I know BDP beat down posse
Yeah.
back in the day. Y'all don't
Almost
know
there.
nothing about that. That's that
I
old
know
school.
about it. I heard about it. I don't know about it, but I heard about it.
But tell me a little bit about what it was like growing up in Bessemer.
It was pretty much different. We grew up in BCO
Okay.
era, Bessemer cutoff.
Yeah, the cutoff.
Yeah, it's pretty much different. You raised around this, you raised around that, but it's your choice on what you decide to go with.
I like that. I like that when you say it's your choice, right?
It's your choice. Everybody come up with a million excuses, but it's still your choice on what you decide to go with in life.
I agreed. And when you speak on that, one of the things that touches home with me is that you can be a product of the environment.
Oh yeah.
And that product don't necessarily have to be bad because we always say there's good in the hood, right?
Oh yeah.
So if there's good in the hood, a product of the environment don't have to be a bad product of the environment. You know what I mean? It can actually be something that's really good from the
I
environment.
feel like it's more so good vibes in the hood. You can always get that love in the hood.
Yeah, for sure. For
But
sure.
you don't always get what you need in the hood. It's a big difference.
It is. It
It's
is.
a big difference.
Now, did you come from single parent, double parent
I
household?
come from a single parent
Okay.
household.
Siblings?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I have 2 siblings on my mom's side and 4 on my dad's side. 3 now.
Okay. So as siblings, were y'all all real close?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So
Very close.
who's the oldest?
I'm the oldest on my dad, but I'm the youngest on my mom.
So
Out of the girls, I'm the youngest, but out of the boys, I'm the oldest.
oldest on.
Yeah.
So kind of in the middle, but on
Kinda
the
in
dad,
the
but on the
middle.
dad side, you run things.
Oh yeah. To this day.
To this day, you run things. But on mom's
it?
side,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
kind of
little
like
different.
it's kind of like, hey, look, do what you gonna do what you ain't gonna do. It like, all right, you got it. You can't go against them girls.
For sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
you can't go against them girls.
So what school did you go to out there?
I actually went to Davis Middle School in Bessemer, and when I went to high school, I went to Minor High School for like half a semester, and I went to East Limestone in Huntsville, Alabama for another half.
Okay.
And that was pretty much it. So I pretty much educated myself through life.
Okay. So Huntsville.
Mm-hmm.
Did you live up there for a while?
Yeah, I stayed
well,
up
obviously
there.
you lived
Yeah.
up there for a while to go to school, but
Yeah,
your
I
whole
stayed.
family moved up there?
No, I actually stayed with a relative. I stayed with my uncle, my mom's brother.
Okay.
And it was pretty much a situation that took place with landing me in juvenile detention center, and I had to come back home.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've been there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been there. And I understand that when you have to navigate those different systems
Mhm.
and different environments,
Yeah, you
sometimes
have to adapt.
you adapt,
Yeah,
right?
you gotta adapt very quick.
So Was Huntsville real different?
Yeah, it was totally different. It was more slow.
Slow?
It was slow, but it was more of a fast pace when it came to partying. But it was more slower than what I'm used to.
Well, now you talk about partying now. You know, the Ville
Oh
used to get
yeah.
down back in the
I
day.
mean, yeah, because back then you had a lot of rich kids who, moms left them there on the weekend. They just opened up the house to everybody. So it was pretty much an experience.
That's
It was
what's
an
up.
experience that I wasn't used to
Okay.
coming from the streets.
Okay.
Yeah, it was different. It was totally different.
Did you have a lot of friends up there
Oh
also?
yeah, a lot of friends, a lot of them.
Because I mean, you said, like I say, the energy cool when I met you. So I'm like, he got to be a real likable guy.
Oh yeah,
Probably, you know,
I'm
I don't
not
want to
hard
say
to get along with.
not hard to get along with that, and that's a good thing, right?
Oh
You
yeah,
know, I always say the earth is my turf. You'll hear me say that all the time. The
most
earth is my
definitely.
turf, so I'm good in any hood,
No matter where you go.
wherever I go. And it ain't because I'm going there and trying to muscle. I ain't muscling nothing at
Oh
52 no
nah,
more.
it depends on who you are as a person, your character, and your personality.
Man,
You know.
that's what's happening. And so Bessemer, Huntsville, kind of mixed family situation.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first foray into saying, I got some musical talent?
It was way before the Huntsville situation.
Okay.
It was actually started when I was like 7 years old.
Okay.
I used to freestyle. Me and my buddy, we used to do it in the gym in elementary. But when I got like 12 years old, I think middle school, and I had a relative actually who had got shot. I never started telling this story. And that was
Okay.
my first time ever writing a rhyme.
Okay.
And it made sense. And my mom, she seen it, she read it, and she ripped it up, bought it up, threw it away. I'm like,
No.
oh man. I'm like, that could have been a hit in the future, Yeah, but it's pretty much that's when I started, like really. But when I was 15 and I moved to Huntsville, that's when I really started trying to take it serious.
Okay.
Like I was trying to produce and everything at that time.
Okay. So multi-talented. You
Oh
so
yeah, yeah. I always
produce.
been into that. I always been into everything dealing with entertainment. I always been into it. I always just been different.
Okay.
You know?
And so with the freestyle, do you remember your first bars? I know you said you wrote them. Do you remember your first bars?
I never. I'd have been asked that in another interview, and I can't. All I remember is you shot my cousin on the east side. That's all.
That's the only bar.
That's the only bar I remember. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Well, taking it back a little bit when you say 15, taking it serious, producing. So were you a part of a crew or were you just
Oh
like
no,
solo?
I was just solo.
Just solo? Okay.
Solo. I had a buddy who was actually like he knew how to make beats.
Okay.
And I still keep in contact with him to this day. But everybody got different lives. Everybody, you got some people turn to family men. You got some people who not there no more.
Yeah.
So I pretty much did my own thing. I pretty much did my own thing. I like to tap in and see what you know. I like to learn you and learn everything that you know, and then we can go from there.
For sure, for sure. That way you get a chance to know
If
who to
you,
build
yeah,
with
if
and
you,
who not to build
yeah,
with.
if you cool to be around me for real, for real.
Yeah.
If you gonna take it serious, as I'm taking it serious, because I take a lot of stuff serious, and I done been through years of trying to take this serious.
So I always say, and you've heard it a million times, right? You got to put in your 10,000 hours.
Most definitely, you got to.
And people think that having a hit record happens overnight. They don't realize that
You can actually have a hit record, and you cannot put it into the full effect until maybe like 2-3 years later.
yeah,
You can have a hit record, and it might not even go viral until like 3 years later.
you're right.
Because you got to promote it.
I mean, we was just sitting out there talking about Young LA, right? So here go Young LA, a hit. How that ain't I? Oh,
yeah.
So ain't I was the move when I was putting out music. So we talked about in maybe 08, 09, maybe.
yeah.
So we talked about almost 20 years later. He back
He
popping.
back popping. That's amazing. That's
and,
amazing.
And thank God for the internet. People be saying, "Oh, the internet is the devil and this and that." But man, if you know how to work this net, and you know how to reach the people,
goods and it have its bads.
Yeah, everything does.
Because it can become a distraction, but at the end of the day, the way the direction this world is moving, it can become a successful thing.
For sure. And you got a lot of people that have become millionaires
off the internet,
off the net, right?
Yep.
And so when you were 15, 16, and I'm not gonna guess at your age, but was you in the Facebook era still, or was it?
Oh no, it was more so Bebo and MySpace.
Oh, man, you talk Bebo. Man.
Yeah, it was more Bebo MySpace. Yeah, yeah.
And so I remember back in the MySpace days, you had the player on the top. Did
Oh
you have your
yeah.
music up there
Oh
playing your
yeah, you
music?
can not mine's
Oh,
personal,
okay.
not mine's personal, but I used to throw the music up there, had your little background cover and
Yeah,
everything.
you had the custom graphics,
Oh
and
yeah,
man, I'm
yeah.
taking y'all back, y'all. Don't let this great fool you. I was really in the streets and on the net back then, and so was my dog, man. He
Most
was really
definitely.
out there.
Young, man.
Yes,
Young,
but
young.
that's how you got the game, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And so moving forward, you were producing. When did you said you was taking it serious? What was the how can I say it? What was the aha moment that you said, you know what? I'm just to really put my all in this. Everybody typically has
That
that
particular
that that
moment.
that moment that says, you know what?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go.
I was pretty much running around a couple older guys. I actually did like 5 months in juvie when I was 15. When
Mm,
I was 14, when I got out, I was 15. And I started messing with a lot of older guys who had it pretty much, in order.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, none of us can stay out of jail. So it didn't go pretty far.
right.
Yeah, so that's the moment I said I need to take it serious. And I became every day I write rhymes. Me and my buddies would sit out there in the yard, would do our thing. And after that, guess what I do? I jump in the dictionary, I start reading words. That's just what I always been into.
And so because you said that, I don't want you to think I ain't listen to your music because
Oh, most
I'm
definitely.
gonna tell you. So he is spinning on 101.1 the culture. He went ahead and said, you know what, put me in the rotation.
Gotta
And
stay in
so
rotation.
I'm gonna tell you, I when I first started the station, I just said, just send me your music, right? And
Oh
then
yeah.
I was like, okay, your music got to be mixed and mastered right because I can't have
Hmm.
you up high and then someone else down
Yep.
low. And then when I said his music good, his mix right, and he got some bars. He got some bars.
Yeah.
And so the dictionary, you was taking words and breaking them down and flipping them,
Oh
or you would
yeah.
just find a way to insert that in your rap.
Now I just pretty much take what I go through in real life and I interpret it in a different way. So I can take a word and I can make you think I'm talking about this word, but I'm actually talking about this, but I could be talking about that.
With them Dolan
I
triple
love to
entendres.
play with them words. Love to play with them words.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, first show. When did you do your
Mm.
first show?
Actually, I did my first show like last year.
What?
You wouldn't even believe it. I did my first show last year. And actually, it wasn't even like my first show. People thought it was like my 10th or 12th show. And I'm like, this is my first show. I never performed before.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what was the experience like for you to be on stage the first time?
It was amazing. But me, I popped my shit.
Okay.
I popped my shit in a big way. Yeah.
For sure. For
And,
sure.
hey, I believe in I'm that nigga. So, when I step out there, I'm that nigga.
Okay. That's what's happening. That's
Yeah.
what's happening. And so, on stage,
Hmm.
and you've been in the dictionary, and you told me that you was an author.
Hmm.
So, did that kick off with the rapping and just the pen, or was that something that you just grew into recently? How did that come about?
Honestly, I always been into it, but I felt like I couldn't do it. But when I went to prison, that's when I started doing it.
Okay.
That's when I really started writing.
Okay.
You ain't got no choice but to have time to sit down and write. You in there, motherfucker.
Right. 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 Right.
But yeah, that's when I first started writing. When I came home, I never stopped because I knew I can do it.
And so, did you write books, poems,
Oh, it was books, strictly books.
books?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, have you got anything published right now?
No, not published yet, but
Okay.
I'm pretty much prepping for that.
Okay. So, are you working on a body of work or just a particular book, or is it going to
Oh
be a
no, I
story?
actually got a couple books. I got one called Where's Emily, and I got one called Ocean Deep.
Really?
Oh yeah, most definitely. All you got to do is just stay tuned.
Okay.
Just stay tuned.
So, we're going to have to call you back when you
Oh, most
release the
definitely. When I
book.
release them, when I publish them, you're gonna have to call me back and get the info on
For
all
sure.
that.
For sure. So, y'all got it, man. I be feeling good when I see, and I never want to offend nobody when I call them a youngster. So you
It's
know what I'm
all
saying?
good.
When I see the younger generation grabbing hold of all these different talents and putting it
Hmm.
together, because people don't realize that we got so many different diverse type of people.
Yep.
Everybody ain't meant to rap.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't meant to write. And then you said you rap. We got books on the way.
Movies.
And so
Yeah.
how'd you get Hollywood, man? How'd you get Hollywood?
Nah, actually, pretty much I knew, well, my relative, he knew of a guy, and the guy actually kept telling us, hey, we got something for you. We're going to put you in a little slot. And, he gave it to us, and we went down there and we did what it do.
Okay.
First time ever actually being on film, and, it pretty much nailed it.
Okay. So was it scripted? Was it kind of freelance? How did that come about?
It was pretty much script, but I put a little twist to it. And when I put a little twist to it, they start asking me, hey, what you think about this? And then they seem like, damn, he can direct, you know.
So that take a different eye and a
Oh
different
yeah.
ear
Oh yeah.
because I got a partner of mine and he's starting to get more behind the camera, but he's always had the vision. And I'm not
Mhm.
visually that ain't my talent. I always tell people, look, if you want me to put together a room or something like that, my shit gonna be square.
Yeah.
I don't have that type of vision for angles and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
But if you put me in the I'm gonna make you sound the way you want to
Mhm.
sound, and normally better if you give me the minute to work with your stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I don't have that type of talent. So man, salute to you because that's a God given talent that a lot of people have to spend a lot of time developing.
Oh, most definitely. That's why I never give up. That's why I never give up.
That's the key. Never giving up because you don't know what's gonna fall
Yeah.
for you, and then it may all fall for
Oh
you.
yeah. Most people look at a fail as a fail, and a fail can actually pretty much mean strength.
Okay,
When you fail once, that can strengthen you to keep going to the next level. And a lot of people fail
facts.
and they stay down. But every time I fail, I gain strength.
So where do you think that strength comes from?
Um, honestly, I think this strength come from God and my mom.
God fearing man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very spiritual.
That's what's up. That's what's
Very
up.
spiritual.
I am too. I am too. And maybe that's why when we first talked, I was like, okay, this brother on something different. He on something different.
Totally different page. Totally different level.
Yeah. And so what? So in case the people want to catch you out on film, what's the name of the film that you were in?
Zones the series.
Zone series.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Zone the series actually comes out every Sunday. Every
Zone the
Sunday.
series.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Okay. Any
8
more acting
p.m.
roles coming up in the future?
Hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully. And actually pretty much I'm actually about branching out doing my own thing.
Okay.
Now it's about time to turn my books into movie scripts.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's the move.
That's the move.
That's the move.
That's the
And
move.
so when you get a chance to do that, there's a book that I read at one time because I never wanted to be a director, but I wanted to write scripts at one
Mm-hmm.
time, right? And there's a book that I bought it when I was down the road,
Hey, that's where it all
you
started.
know, and I read a lot about scripts
Mm-hmm.
and how to put together scripts and characters and stuff like that. So I never put that to use. I put some of the knowledge to use, but not in the video world.
Yeah.
So if I ever think of the book, and you could probably find all that stuff online now. Back then, it wasn't none of that when I was doing it. So
Yeah.
you could probably find a lot of that online. And I always say, do you have any mentors that you look out to when it comes to that type of stuff right now, or just kind of self taught with most of
I
it?
was pretty much self-taught. I was always inspired by Tupac, of course,
Yeah.
but it's just pretty much it. I don't have a person who mentored me, or I pretty much go based off what I've been through in life,
Okay.
you know.
When you talk about Tupac, I always ask everybody this on all of my stuff that do music, right? So, who are your three biggest inspirations when it comes to your artistry? And it doesn't have to be someone that's technically in the arts because we can be inspired from somebody
Oh,
else.
most definitely, most definitely. I honestly say it'll really be Tupac, it'll be Lil Wayne, it'll be my relative in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
He's very lyrical.
Okay.
He's very lyrical.
So he's an artist in the A.
Oh yes, yes.
What's his name?
Fleetwood Fred.
Fleetwood Fred.
Yes, sir. He's more of a smooth level.
Okay.
Like he don't talk about nothing gangster. Everything is smooth,
Okay.
you know.
And so, how would you describe your music?
Pretty much just diversity. I can be a drill artist, I can be a pain artist. Pretty much wherever I feel like my fans need to be strengthened at.
Okay. What do you prefer to do?
I prefer pain.
Okay.
because I've been through a lot. So
Okay.
I prefer to pretty much put it out there so they'll understand, like, you know what, guess what? My whole plan is when I put out the pain music, so my fans can understand that no matter how hard it gets, you got to keep going because ain't nothing is a end road. Nothing is an end road. Everything keeps going.
Everything in life keep going. Even
Everything
life
in
keep
life,
going.
even life keep going. Life keep
Going.
life.
Yeah.
But it's up to you and what you do in that life.
And you've been able to navigate those different forks in the road to say, okay, I know how to pivot. That's the word that I've been
Hmm.
using lately. You got to know how to be able to pivot,
Maneuver.
maneuver.
Yep.
And so I know you talked about the acting. I know we talked about the books. Talked a little bit about the music. So what's your latest music that's out now? Because I got some good stuff right now. So what's the latest stuff you got out?
Oh
And
yeah, I pretty much got A1 and Pop Out spinning.
okay,
Them the pretty most streamed songs and pushing buttons. But I'm
pushing buttons,
actually got a project really pretty much I'm trying to figure out the date to actually drop it. It's called Tension.
tension,
Yes, sir,
whole
Tension.
project or EP or
Nah,
just
it's pretty
single?
much just a single.
Okay, but it's called tension.
Oh yeah, I don't do EPs anymore.
Okay.
I feel like I win better with singles.
Okay. And I think me personally, I think that's a better strategy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
everybody has what works for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think singles give you a chance to hit them
Yeah.
several
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
times
Yep.
over the course of a shorter period of time.
Yes, sir.
And you can kind of focus on the record a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so is tension is already recorded?
Oh yeah, Tension already recorded.
Okay.
I just need to release it.
Okay. So who produced it?
Actually my buddy Gold.
Gold?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Gold made it on every beat.
Okay, Gold made it on every
Gold
beat.
made it.
Okay. That's shout out to Gold,
Shout out to
man.
Gold.
Um, so pop out.
Mm-hmm.
We looking for tension
Mm-hmm.
and
A1.
A1.
Yes, sir. Them are the most two stream ones.
Okay. You got any collabs?
Nah, not recently, not out.
Okay.
I got a couple brothers I collab with, but I don't really have nothing out. Right now I'm pretty much focused on me, my own ground, before I actually
Kind
have
of
a
building
feature.
that
Oh yeah,
foundation.
yeah. Cause I don't want to feel like, I'm riding anyone else's wave. I'd rather ride my own wave and build myself up. I don't want no one to feel like, because it give leeching vibes.
Hmm.
It give leeching vibes,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know.
So moving on because I know we've touched a lot on your artistry
Hmm.
and I'm really impressed by having you be able to touch on different levels.
Oh, most different.
Now we're gonna talk about another level because I always talk about this with a lot of great talent and gifts, we also got responsibilities, right?
Hmm.
So I always say, as far as the culture, because you're doing music for culture, what else are you doing outside of just your artistry side that's for the culture?
Actually, I pretty much have a website where I actually have my own brand, my own clothing brand, my own merch. I'm actually trying to tap into the pretty much low income Section 8 communities,
Okay.
so I'm trying to find a way where I can pretty much make it easier on the ones who struggling, the welfare, the people who relying on food stamps, everything like that in the communities. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be the black communities. But at the end of the day, the Section 8, the income communities,
Okay. That's
the
facts.
ones who the government really don't understand.
Okay. And what's the name of your organization?
Actually, YBA.
YBA,
Yes, sir. Young black activist.
Young Black Actor. I like that. I
Yes,
like that.
sir.
And that's being able to stand 10 toes and
Stand
stand on your
10 toes
business.
behind everything.
That's
Dealing
what's
with the
up.
low income community.
And I think you said the people that the government don't understand and some of the people that they've forgotten
Hmm.
about, but you know what? That's where the strength comes from.
Yeah, we really do.
You know, we always talk about getting it from the soil. From the soil is what the roses grow from. So you
Yes,
got to go
sir.
to the soil.
Yes, sir. Everything buried must regrow.
Man, that's what's up. That's what's up. So before we get out of here, do you got anything else that you need the people to know about that we ain't touched on?
That's pretty much it. Besides, go lock in, tap into my website, www.pacodadon.com. Tap in at YBA Young Black Activists all over.
Okay, that's what.
And whatever you feel like you can't do it. Don't never give up.
Man, that's a good note. That's a good note, man.
Most
So,
definitely.
man, thank you again for pulling up. Thank you again for sharing your story.
Yes, sir.
Um, we got some work to do. So
Oh,
I already
most
told you
definitely.
we fit to lock in on some
Hey,
other
it's
stuff,
always a pleasure of being here.
and if you got anything that you've got going on, you've got the chance to tour the Cultural Community Center. So you see, we got a lot of stuff going on and we got a lot of moving pieces. So if there's anything that you want to try to put on or something like that, reach out to us. If
Most
there's
definitely.
anything that you got going on, let me know. And if there's a way that we can add to what you got going on that makes sense,
Yes, sir.
I always say, building community is about working with each other.
Yep,
And
yep,
so
yep.
if there's any way that I can assist, do that.
Yes, sir. Because we gotta have a place for the kids to go.
Man. Ooh, we're gonna have to do a whole nother interview on talking about what we're gonna really get deep into.
Most definitely, most definitely.
And so before we go, make sure y'all catch Paco Da Don on 101.1 The Culture.
Yes, sir. The biggest.
You can actually go to the radio station just by going to the website. If you look at the bottom of the screen, it says 101theculture.com. You can go to the website, and all you got to do is hit the player, and the music is playing. He in rotation. He actually got 2 songs in rotation. The big way, we going to make sure that he get played, right? Or you can go to the Live 365 app. When you go to the Live 365 app or the TuneIn app, all you got to do is type in 101.1 The Culture in the search, and we'll pull up. And there's a whole bunch of other different apps that we own and players, but them is the main 3. I always tell people it's easier to go to the website and just hit play. And with that being said, man, and shout out to Keisha. She over there in the cut, right?
Most definitely shout out to Keisha,
you know
man.
what I'm saying? Shout out to Keisha. You know what I'm
If it
saying?
weren't for her, a lot of stuff wouldn't be possible, man. You just don't know.
And so I'm gonna say this because a lot of people don't like to shout out nobody else's businesses, because to me there ain't no competition. We all working together. So Pressure 23, P23 Radio, they in the building with me right now. And so this is what I mean by working together.
Yes, sir. Collaboration.
She got her own station.
Yep.
And she got an artist up over here at my station. And that's how we supposed to work. If we get that type of stuff out of our head, imagine how much further we'll be, right?
There's no limitations.